Greetings and good day to all dear students. We plan to, in a series of tutorials that will take a total of 2 hours, take a project from zero to completion, but not in a very professional way, just in a way that it's functional for you to get acquainted with the 3ds Max environment, or even if someone wants to do their student projects very simply and easily, they can confidently do their work, provided that they have a bit of creativity, and secondly, that they do exactly what we do and do these exercises. Well, we want in this series to completely model the tomb and mausoleum of Hafez in this series and do the lighting, materials, and rendering. And we aim to finish all of this within those 2 hours. I'll give some explanations about the 3ds Max environment and then we'll start working. Well, 3ds Max has 4 viewports. As you can see here, top, front, perspective, and left. It has a title bar at the top. Where your project name and your 3ds Max version and the name of the 3ds Max software are written here for you. Below it, below your title bar, there's a toolbar that contains all the tools in 3ds Max. Everything that exists in 3ds Max, you can find and locate in them. Below that is the main toolbar, where your main or frequently used tools are located, and you can use them. It also has another section that, depending on the task you are performing in the 3ds Max environment, this panel provides you with certain functionalities. After that, some toolbars also appear on the left side. And you can even drag them to the right. A very important section in the 3ds Max environment is this section, the modifier stack, and then other sections like the title bar and timeline, which we don't use at all in this series. And another section, the part related to the timeline, and also the coordinate system related to the scene, and another section that is here is related to your viewport or your camera view. We don't use many of these in this course because our intention is to come and teach a summary and an overview of the tools that you can use a lot to complete a project simply. And it's you who can gradually increase your workflow with 3ds Max and complete your training. This is the Tomb of Hafez, where we want to start working on this part, the hexagonal dome. Of course, one column has a normal base and a special capital and a belt with very specific dental molding. The design of this space and this dome section and the part below it, which has coffers and the stairs that go up and the tomb itself that is placed here, we just want to start modeling this part. Very well. I have the source CAD for this series, and I tried myself from I can roughly draw the CAD for the image for my work. I go to File, Import, and click Import. okay? This is the Max file that I saved as a Max file, and I want to bring it into the 3D Max space and start working from it, okay? When we click Import Max, when we click Import CAD, this window opens for us. For now, I'm not concerned with its specific parts, what these things are. Just know that in the first stage, the model scale is very important, so that your scale is the same as the scale you had in the AutoCAD space, okay? If I check this box, I can change it here, okay? I'll uncheck it, okay. Let's have an approximate size. If I open this, okay, you can see that this space is approximately a space with a diameter with a radius of 4 meters. However, it's set to 4 centimeters here, so I didn't import my work correctly. I select it, press delete, and delete it. Again, import Max. I named my AutoCAD file Max, so I know which file to import into 3D Max. This time, I'll click Rescale for the meter setting. Okay, let's see what has changed. I'll move forward and click on the cylinder. I click and drag from approximately the center. Okay, now, if you pay attention, it says approximately 3 meters. So my rescaling was done correctly. This is from this section. This importing an AutoCAD file into the 3D Max space is a part that can be very important for you. And know that when you import the file, the drawing you made in CAD will be imported into the 3D Max space exactly as it is. If you make your lines very small and close together, you will have breaks here. Later, we'll get acquainted with how you can recognize this as a line and do whatever you want with it as a line. And also, if you see that it's moving, or you're having trouble and can't work with it in the 3D Max space, it's enough to right-click, and when you right-click on any object, on any shape, there are 4 sections in the right-click menu in 3D Max, each of which performs different tasks. What we're concerned with now is that we can freeze these lines that we brought from the AutoCAD space, and you see they are no longer selectable. And you can perform the different tasks you want by having this done. I can right-click again, and you see, because they are frozen, these 2 sections next to them are no longer present. I click Unfreeze All, and they are unfrozen. Pay attention to selecting them. If you select a space in 3D Max, the drawing you brought from CAD, when you select it, all the lines that were in the same layer in AutoCAD will be selected together. So, what is recognized here as a single shape is the layer that you used in AutoCAD. Okay, I'll mention a few points here, and then we'll start modeling. First, for selection, well, like in AutoCAD, we click and hold down the mouse button and drag. You see it selects the shape. There's an option here related to selections. You see, this is related to different types of selections. You can select circularly or irregularly, or you can click this option. This option is the rectangular selection, and there's a shape next to it. When it's inside, when you draw your selection rectangle, The entire object must be within that rectangle. Otherwise, that shape will not be selected. It's selected. See? Now the whole thing is inside. It's selected. But when it's in this mode, even if only a corner is captured, it selects it. And another issue is about a series of shortcuts. You can, when you select it, this gizmo, you see how it is. You can move this. The gizmo is for the move gizmo, which is here. Similarly, rotate is next to it, and also scale. They are all next to each other. When you want to move precisely, just right-click on one of them. If you want to rotate precisely, right-click on it and enter the numbers precisely here. The next point is that whether in move, scale, or rotate, you can do it on specific axes. Now, if you look here in perspective mode, there are all three axes. If I click on this small square, you see I can change it in 3 directions. From the left, you can see that even its height is changing. And from the top, you see that X and Y are also changing. And wherever I regret the selection, if I right-click, it goes back to where it was. Or if I go to 2 axes, you see its color turns yellow. It moves only on those 2 axes, or on these 2 axes, or even on the X and Y 2 axes. Meaning, if I stand on just one axis, and wherever you stand and see the axes turn yellow, and you see the center, when you are at the center square turns yellow. And in 3 directions, 2 directions, and on the axis itself, it turns gold. It turns golden yellow. And on one axis, no matter how much you move your mouse up and down, it only moves in that direction where you clicked and held. The next point is this modifier stack, which has different parts. The first one is the plus sign, create, then modify. And now those that are related to it, we will become familiar with. In the create or modify section, or each has a specific subcategory that now I will give some explanations about this part, which is a bit more specific for us. This Create Geometry section has 3D volumes, shapes, lights, cameras, helpers, and other things. Again, in each of these sections, you see that there is a scroll bar that has different options. Now, based on our goal, we will explain it in this series. The Create section has standard primitives, extended components. Those who have worked in AutoCAD Space, for example, in Compound, can see Boolean and do their work with Boolean. Or in standard shapes like box, cone, tube, cylinder, torus, plane, and other things that we will use. You can, if you are curious, select these one by one yourself and see how you can work with them. For example, that cylinder that we selected, when I click on it, it turns blue. I come into the space, click the center point, drag it. I haven't released my click yet. I drag it, and wherever I want, I release it. And then when I move my mouse, you see it's gaining height. I haven't done any clicks yet. Wherever I click, it sets the height for me. I click and adjust my selection. You see that my mouse cursor is still in its previous state, meaning our cylinder is blue, meaning the cylinder command is still active, meaning if you click, drag, it will create another cylinder for you until you right-click. My mouse cursor returns to its previous shape. If I press delete, it will be deleted. This is what we've done so far. And we'll move on to the next session to start modeling. First our stairs, then the columns, and then the roof work.